if you want to sell a website fast, then you put it on Flippa, and if it's worth what it's worth, it's gonna sell. So that's the great thing.
Hey everyone, I am Ben Weiss, and this is Humans of Flippa. I'm joined today by Goran Dus, coming to me from all the way in Croatia, beautiful country over there in Europe. Goran, how are you doing today?
Hey Ben, I'm doing great. I'm really excited to be here on the Humans of Flippa YouTube channel. I watched several videos you've done already, and I'm both excited to be here, but also kind of like challenge accepted. I want to contribute, and share. I'm hoping and I'm praying that I share something that people haven't heard already, and they can benefit from. So fingers crossed.
Yeah, absolutely. I think you will, because I'm excited. We haven't had a chance to chat before, but I know you've been a friend of Flippa for a long time. So I'm excited to get to know you. I know you've used Flippa. I know you've got this really cool company called Webmaster Ninja. I'm already making mistakes. Webmaster Ninja, everybody. The link will be below. Don't worry. But let's start it off. What's your experience with Flippa? Have you been selling sites, buying sites? What have you done with our platform? I'd love to hear a bit more.
Pretty much everything. At one point, one of the, I think he was a developer on Flippa, and he was a client of ours on my main company, Who API. So I've been buying websites on Flippa, selling websites, buying domains, selling domains, whatever it is to do, I'll try it on Flippa. So and it's been going on for a few years now. So I'm super excited for what the future holds, and what's in store in the future on Flippa marketplace.
Yeah, absolutely. So I'm always curious because everyone's got their own techniques, I guess you'd say. What's your process when you're going to buy something on Flippa? Like, what are kind of some things you look for? What kind of sites? What kind of statistics? What do you? I know you've built a whole business around this kind of analytic stuff. So I'd love to know what goes on in your mind when you're on the platform.
Well, it evolves over time. So whatever I'm going to say now might change a month from now, a year from now, 5 years from now. So I can tell you kind of what it was when I was first, dabbling, and when I realized there's something to it, and there's money and time to be invested, and how that evolved over time. And so I have no idea what it's gonna, and especially if the marketplace changes over time, this also might change my strategy as well. For example, you've done very neat integration with SEMrush, which makes it easier for me to do due diligence, because I was already on SEMrush each time I was looking for a particular website I want to buy. So this changes my strategy and saves me time. So like I said, it's going to change over time anyway.
So are you often looking at those kind of analytics, like website traffic? Is that like a big driver for you?
Yeah, of course, because I'm kind of, if you ever bought a used car, that you're reading an ad and it's gonna say, the suspension is great, the engine is doesn't use any oil, all stuff like that, and then you try the car yourself and even get a mechanic to take a look at it, and then you're like, something's not right here, Same thing might happen to the website. You have a great ad, great information, you're all excited, and then you check the backlink profile, the positions, for keywords on Google or social media, or some videos, and then you realize this is not exactly what it's what it's supposed to be. So
yeah,
I always try to look at the analytics, the traffic stats, and everything I can before I even reach out to the seller or post a comment or whatever. I really want to do my own thing before reaching out and trying to get to know the seller and what what he can share with me that I can then, think if that's helpful for me or not. So
Right. Yeah. No, it makes sense, and that's why we're not really here to push Flippa too much, but that's why we've been adding a lot of integrations like the SEMrush, and now you can, if you have an e-commerce site, you can integrate with Stripe and things like that. So it's like verified information that you can quickly look at and know, okay, the bones are there.
yeah,
Now,
yeah,
like, what do I want to know on top of that kind of information?
you need, like with everything, third-party information is always the gold standard, because you're gonna have a subjective feeling, and the seller is gonna have a subjective feeling. So there was one time I was looking at a website, and I wanted to buy it. It was in the niche I wanted it to be, and everything seemed nice, except this one thing that I talked myself into it, that I'm gonna take care of this thing. They're struggling with it, but when I come in, this is gonna be sorted out really quickly. And I get my friend on the phone. He's also buying and selling websites, and I tell him the whole deal. And he's like, Goran, I hate to break it to you. Just like the other day, you broke it out to me. You're fall in love with this website, and this is probably a bigger issue than you hope it is. And I'm here to tell you what you don't want to hear, and what you told yourself, but you also didn't want to hear it. You shouldn't buy this website. So third party is always it's always great when you can get it.
Yeah, no, absolutely. It's interesting to hear. I think we always jump in and say, "Oh, well, I can do this better than you," but you got to make sure you actually know how to do it better.
Sure, I think everybody's to blame for this same superhero attitude. Oh, I'm gonna
Absolutely.
come in, I'm gonna put some backlinks, I'm gonna create content, this and that. This payment gateway issue, they're struggling with. No, that's nothing for me and for my team. We'll just shake it off. But lo and behold, things sometimes end up being much more complicated than you initially thought they were.
Yeah, absolutely. So I'm also curious, since you use Flip on both sides, is there any strategy that goes into your thinking when you want to sell a business? Like, is there like a moment that you're like, all right, this is at a point where instead of running it, I'd rather, post it on Flippa? I know there's a lot of decision making that goes into that from different people.
Yeah. For me personally, here's the thing. I own a few websites that are pretty geographically tailored to this audience, to this speaking, the people that are speaking Croatian and similar languages in the neighborhood. And buyers are mostly, on Flippa at least, are mostly looking English based, and perhaps some other languages that are really high in traffic. So some of the websites I just can't sell on Flippa. So that's I mean, I could put them up for sale, but they're not gonna reach the price they should.
Right, it's a pretty small market.
For sure, yeah.
Yeah.
So that's one thing that's kind of, for me at least, it's different. Great thing about Flippa is there's so many eyeballs, and apart from what I just said, if you want to sell a website fast, then you put it on Flippa, and if it's worth what it's worth, it's gonna sell. So that's the great thing. Not sure what can add to that.
No, that's great. There wasn't necessarily a right or wrong answer to the question. I'm just always curious because people, sometimes people like to hold a website for the rest of their life theoretically, and sometimes you hold a website for 6 months or 2 years, wherever it is, and at some point you just make that decision to sell. So that's what I'm always just curious about is, how do you decide it's time to let go?
I'm also in that category, and I don't like to sell fast. I'm not flipping websites, so I don't buy a website and then 6 months from now trying to flip it, even if it increases in revenue or decreases in revenue. I'm mostly holding long until the right buyer comes along, or until something major happens.
Right.
So
Makes
that's
sense.
kind of my strategy at the moment. I'm just in the process of selling 2 websites, so it's not like I never sell websites. I just sold 2 to the same buyer.
Oh.
So I suppose it's some of the websites I sell, I bought really early on, and I either lost interest in them or my strategy changed.
Right.
When I was first buying websites, I was learning the ropes,
Yeah.
who can I buy from, how can I buy, how do I transfer, what do I do next. It's all nice and dandy when you're reading articles and advice from experts and videos such as this one. Oh, I'm supposed to do this and that, and I just put some content, and the revenue will triple X in just 2 months. For sure, yeah. Until you roll up your sleeves and you start working, and then you realize, I have to put 10 articles, 3,000 words long. Sure, piece of cake. Find a writer, and so anyway, it just snowballs one thing into the next one. So it's
Yeah, it becomes quite a
theory and
bit.
practice is different. So if you end up buying some websites that later you don't know what to do with, then you sell them or do something else.
Yeah, for sure. No, it does become a lot of work. I get that very much, and especially as you're growing and you become a more sophisticated operator, you want different things. It makes a lot of sense. I want to jump over to Webmaster Ninja. I assume you have a few businesses, but this is the one we talk about a lot at Flippa. Let's jump into it. What is it? What is Webmaster Ninja? Tell me about it, and then I'm also just curious, kind of how it came to be, because I assume it came from a lot of your work buying and selling
Sure.
websites and operating websites.
Yeah, I'll try to keep it short because you touched on a few points that are these are really long stories. But yeah, I think the most exciting thing for viewers is Webmaster Ninja, because it's really tailored to website investors and website owners that manage a few websites that are generating revenue, especially through AdSense and other marketplaces. AdSense in particular, because we have Google AdSense integrated, so you can watch the weekly revenue, monthly revenue, and you get a beautiful graph that you would normally see in AdSense as well, but you see it inside Webmaster Ninja in the same place. And if you want to jump from Webmaster Ninja to that particular AdSense website, you just click on the icon and it takes you right there. Especially, and also with Google Analytics, if you click on the same icon and you have Google Analytics connected, you can also jump straight into that account on Google Analytics.
Great. So is it really great? It's tailored for people who, I assume, own like multiple websites that they're operating. Yeah.
Yes, the more websites you own, the more useful it becomes.
Right.
And the reason I gave those 2 examples first is because the entire idea for Webmaster Ninja is to give you like a quick snapshot of your entire portfolio. And then if you see that something is not working right, or something is working great, that this also happens, and you want to dive deeper and see, where the traffic is coming from, where the revenue is coming from, then you go and access Google Analytics, and in the near future, Google Search Console, we're gonna integrate it as well. So it's supposed to give you like a quick snapshot, warn you when something's not working right or not working at all, when something is about to expire, like a domain name, SSL certificates, things like that. And so it's like a traffic signal, what's working, what's not working, and
yeah,
and it's really quick.
Yeah, no, I like that. I mean, we've got so many people on Flippa that, I don't know, probably have 10, 20, there's probably people with 50 to 100 websites. Is that you? How many websites do you own right now?
At the moment, -2, but yeah, more than 20. But these are mostly small websites,
right?
And some of them I've acquired as a portfolio. The seller just wanted to sell the entire batch, and so I would end up with 10 websites where we really like maybe 2 or 3, and the others were to be sold, to be merged, to be deleted,
Right.
So
I love that. I mean, someone like you, and there's a lot of people like you on Flippa who've got 20 websites, 30 websites, who knows how many, and now you get to be kind of almost like I'm picturing this like if you're like at the NASA Space Center and you just got that big screen in front of you, you get like all the analytics of everything that's going on in one, like you get one big monitor and you can just see it all up there and start clicking around, right?
yeah, that's also a fantasy of mine, and when you have that space, the Cape Canaveral, they have this space and the two big screens, and what's going on. I mean, back in 2005, 2010, I was running a small web hosting business. So I'm used to having screens, and watching servers and websites. Is everything okay? Is everything up and running? And we had a word that we were never supposed to say in the office. Down, I believe it was down, and a few others. Because every time if you heard like a word down, everybody would be, what's down, which server is down, what do we need to do? So
You seem to have a problem.
yeah. So I'm definitely with you with the screen and just checking, if everything is up and running. And there's obviously another camp, and I'd like to talk about that as well.
Yeah,
The
go
camp,
for it.
huh?
Go ahead.
Yeah, the camp that says you should focus only on one website, maybe two, maybe three, and that's it. And I also believe that's also a great strategy for some people. It also depends on the website size. If you can afford 3 websites that are each making $10,000 a month or more, good for you. Some people just can't afford that. They can't buy a website for $100,000 or $50,000 or more. So when you're starting small, there's probably a better chance that you're going to find a website for $2,000, $5,000 than for $20,000 or $50,000. It's just like a pyramid. There's more websites here, probably more trash as well. But that's your advantage. If you have the grit, the skill, the whatever to work on it, then the opportunity is there.
Yeah, no, absolutely. No, it's good stuff. And I think Webmaster Ninja is really cool. I mean, it makes sense because you developed it as someone who operates websites. And I love anyone who's creating tools that's something that they're going to use themselves, because it means there's truly a use for it. And I think our community will love it, which is why we're talking about it. And I'll throw some links down here for everybody.
Webmaster Ninja evolved a lot over time. So here's the short version of the longer story I mentioned earlier. So my main company is whoapi.com. That's kind of where I make the bulk of my money. And I was looking for a use case of all of our APIs. And we decided to build a tool that's supposed to do what Webmaster Ninja is doing, but there's a lot of similar services and tools out there that do pretty much the same thing. Website monitoring, blacklist notifications, domain name expirations, things like this. So we have a lot of services like that. And I was looking for unique selling proposition, competitive advantage, something, something to rise above the jungle. And a year or maybe, let's say a year and a half into it, I started buying websites, and I started adding the websites into Webmaster Ninja. And then we started changing the dashboard, how it looked like. So in the beginning, there was like a small screenshot of the website. And then I realized it would be much better if the screenshot would be bigger. And then you would see if the ads are displaying correctly, if not just if the website is displaying correctly, but if you see the ads and other stuff as well. So the dashboard kind of started changing for myself. And then I realized that this could be the entire website, and the entire service could be tailored specifically to a website investors, and that's why I added. I mean, my team added, and I had the idea to add Google AdSense, for example, because when you're talking to webmasters that manage websites for their clients, they're not using AdSense at all, right? It's just a company website, and they have no interest at all in Google AdSense.
Right.
So when they connect to Google AdSense, they're telling me, I don't need this. Why is this here? And then I have to explain, look, we have to differentiate, and we're kind of gunning for this space, and you're here, but you're still here because you still get the benefits, which is great, but it's similar, but it's not the same.
Yeah, no, it makes sense. I love it. It's a great tool, and I think people will enjoy it. So before we get going, to finish this up, I always like to ask people one question. We've got all these digital entrepreneurs that I talk to.
Sure.
You know, you're running multiple companies. You're living on a small island, it sounds like, out in the Mediterranean. I'm always just curious, like, what does the perfect day look like for you? What's Goran's perfect day?
I love that question, and I love it because I was on a workshop, and there was a part of the workshop was to create your perfect day, and you're supposed to write it out. You know, when you wake up, what was the first thing you do, what you eat, and but obviously I don't want to bore you with the details of what I eat for breakfast, and how I like to wake up and meditate, things like this. So I think so. I don't know if you see any books. So
There's a couple up there.
yeah, I love reading books, not just paper-wise, but in all shape and form. So reading and learning is a big part of that perfect day. I also love doing interviews like this, some video content, some screen sharing. I'm not that camera shy, or in case you haven't noticed. So, yeah. Anyway, I'm this definitely fits my perfect day, and I'm a summer guy, so the winter is not my cup of tea. It doesn't fit my perfect day. But during the summer, I love to go for a swim, for a walk, for a run, for any type of outdoor activity, snorkeling. I just last summer I passed the license for boating.
Oh, cool.
Since we moved here, and I passed this license. So anything on outside on the sea, it's definitely a great spent day.
Yeah, that's amazing. It's funny. I ask this same question to everyone, and it's incredible how often, everyone I talk to is someone who works at a computer, typically at home, probably has 3 screens on their desk, something like that. I think 90%, if not everyone I've talked to, includes getting outside, going on a walk or a run, or if you live by the beach, going out into the water, includes that in the perfect day. So it's always cool to see, because I don't think we are all just computer nerds who love sitting in a dark room in the basement. We do actually like getting out there and being social and seeing the sunshine. So it's always nice to see that the people on Flippa are just kind of a great worldly community that likes getting outside like that.
yeah, it's just super hard. I mean, I'm my first serious company, I would say, I started in 2005, and since the internet business is hard, it's 24/7, 365. So it's not like you clock out at 6 p.m.
Yeah.
If the server goes down, if the website goes down, if you get blacklisted at 9 p.m., all hell breaks loose, and you gotta go for it. So I keep the moment a friend of mine who's also a techie, he put this picture in me. I'm sitting at the computer like a truck driver, and I'm nothing against truck drivers, but you're sitting at the computer for hours and hours and days, and if this is your career, this turns into decades. So obviously, it's not like you would love to go outside. It's I think almost like the doctor subscribed it. So
Absolutely, I like that. The doctor subscribed it. No, I appreciate it, and it's been really good getting to learn a bit more about you, understand your love for the sunshine, as well as everything you're doing with Flippa and your businesses surrounding it. So I appreciate it. Thank you for joining today.
thanks, man. Yeah, you too. I really appreciate it for inviting me, for you inviting me here, and I hope this video has been helpful to all the viewers. And if anybody wants to reach out, I'm easy to talk to. So I'll be happy to answer any questions or give advice to any and all your followers and watchers.
Fantastic. Thank you.
Okay.